Alright, 6 o'clock on the dot. Call this meeting to order. Adoption of the agenda. So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you will bow with me. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come tonight and be your servants in this little town that's so gracious to us. Be with us and keep us and help us to understand your ways in everything that we do. In God's name, Jesus pray. Amen.
approval of the minutes from the October 14th board meeting.
So moved.
Motion is second, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, anybody here for public comments?
I didn't sign the paper though.
Go ahead.
This is a good one. I want to say thanks for the efforts that y'all put in. If anybody noticed when you come into the lake, we got new speed limit signs. Yeah, we got new speed limits out there. But I do still ask why we couldn't have extended or had to ask the state to extend it. As soon as you get past the shopping center, it jumps back up to 55 again as you go by a church, a park entrance, many houses. There's, as a lot of people can attest to, there's been as many wrecks at the intersection of Pecan Lane and Fire Tower. Can we just keep working a little bit, see can we extend at least 45 past Pecan Lane? Or it'd be nice if we could get all the way past Jefferson. But I do want to applaud y'all for the efforts to get the state to change the speed limits out there. And we still don't have anything, maybe recognizing school, the boys' home, a lot of kids, a lot of activity over there. And then the entrance at Columbia Avenue or Falls Cypress, there's a park there, just something notating that kids are at play, stuff like that. But thank you for your efforts for that.
Thank you. Well, yeah, go ahead.
That has been addressed at a previous town board meeting. The town did request that the speed limit be reduced all the way past Orange. The North Carolina Department of Transportation did not deem it appropriate to lower the speed limit in that area. So I would encourage anyone who believes that it should be reduced in that area to follow up what the town has already tried to do and state your opinion with the NCDOT, because we certainly would like for the speed limit to be reduced all the way from the Baptist church all the way past Orange, but DOT said no.
Thank you, sir.
That's why it was not reduced in that area, but that is not what the town desired. We did request that it be reduced all the way through town to just past Orange.
Please help me, because I've done this about 3 times now, trying to get
Do we need-
this up. So please
We
help.
encourage you to let your wishes be known to DOT in any way that you can.
Fire Tower Road District, go all the way to Raleigh.
Whatever you can do.
Okay.
Anybody else for public comment? All right. Further comments? Item number 7, discussion of potential zoning amendment. And I will put it back in the hands of Mr. Alan Sirkin and Daniel Adams.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. I think it's appropriate just to follow up on some of the public comments, just for the board's clarification and for members of the public. And then I have a few items that I'd like to address as well. So there were a handful of things said during that public comment period, and I just want to respond to a few of them. So to be clear, this text amendment would apply to all of the land area between the lake and Lakeshore Drive. This is not specific for one particular Secondly, any zoning decision must be in writing for it to be a formal decision. So there was reference to a decision made verbally. For any zoning decision to be formal, it must be in writing. There's also a reference to a 1935 ordinance. That ordinance is not in effect today. That is just an ordinance that is of previous times and not in effect today. And then lastly, and I kind of highlighted this during my initial presentation, but I want to be clear, the intent and the language of this text amendment preserves the existing character of what's built in that area between Lakeshore Drive and the lake. So this is not about preserving a character from 1935. It's the 2025 character of that corridor is being preserved, I feel, through what is being proposed in this text amendment. Just wanted to make a few of those points.
And I think, to follow up on that last point, because there are structures currently there today that are not permitted by ordinance. And part of the purpose of this ordinance is to, it was, communicated to us from the board that for the most part, most of what is there and has been there is, nobody's complained about it. Everybody seems to be fine with it. And so the goal was to make most of that stuff at least legal, because we're preserving the current character and more of the same of what's out there currently, or at least recently, relatively recently, is allowed. That type of development would be allowed to continue. So there are fences out there. There are other structures out there that are not permitted.
Thanks, sir. So this was presented to the planning board. What was presented to this board just a few minutes ago was presented to the planning board at their September 4th meeting. That's when the planning board made their recommendation to approve it. Since that time, Mr. Serkin and I have been made aware that the commission felt a little uncomfortable with some of the language, and so we came tonight prepared to modify that language. And so I want to go through some of the alternatives that we're proposing, and I'd be happy for the board to give me feedback or ask questions, and we can tweak as needed. But a handful of alternatives in what I have here, and Ms. Parker, if you don't mind handing it out to the folks on the commission. The alternative covers a few things. So first, it removes walls and gazebos as a permitted structure. So again, what I'm talking about here is what's changed from what was presented to the planning board on September 4th into this alternative that Ms. Parker has handed you. It also reduces the height, the maximum allowable height of a fence or other structure from 4 feet to 3 feet. It removes aluminum and vinyl as a permitted material. And it also removes the exception for fences adjacent to commercial properties. So those are the 4 changes that have been made on that draft that's in front of you from between the planning board meeting on September 4th and here this evening.
And so to be clear, this draft is more restrictive than what planning board recommended.
Correct. Yes, sir, I'm sorry, that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, I think one of the things that I'd like to say is that I probably instigated more of this than anybody from the standpoint of being concerned about some of the additional building and structures that could be done. The reality of it is that this town has been to some degree diligent in a lot of things and not so good at always taking care of what we always intend to do. I mean, there's several reasons for the fact that there has been structures built out there and not been in guidance with the 2014 ordinance that is now in place. And some of those things are simply that we didn't even know that they were doing it. Some of it was is that at the time we didn't have personnel that had the ability to even have a job. So it's really imperative that the town be more diligent in the future, and also for the residents of this town to tell us whenever they see something that they don't like or that they're concerned about. There's no way in the world we're gonna know all the acreage in this town that we're gonna know whether or not something's being done that doesn't meet standards. So we need your help in doing that. So essentially, I asked Alan to take a look at what they had proposed and come up with this alternative, which is a lot more restrictive than what the planning board had asked. But the planning board went into this not knowing that there was a statute of limitations passed by the state for things that, for zoning violations that were not taken care of. So there are some things that we couldn't do anything about, no matter what the zoning is now, no matter what you pass, because those statute of limitations, the state takes a lot away from this town, their abilities to be able to do things. And I've talked about this before, but you need to recognize how many times the state has the authority over us before we can do anything. So I've said enough.
Carl?
I want to address the elephant in the room. I want to address the matter that has been raised about my character and conduct. Recent public comments and online comments have misrepresented my actions. And I believe it is important to speak clearly and directly. Those who have known me many years understand my integrity that guides me and how I serve this community. It's done it for over 30-some years in teaching and coaching. You can attack me all you want, but please, I can take it. But I want you to know that I want to state just as plainly as I can, as what's been said about me is inaccurate. And that's all I'm going to say about it forever. Thank you.
Ms. Teresa, what's your thoughts?
I'm good.
Good.
I don't have a lot to say. I think it's a issue we need to address, and hopefully we'll do the right thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, you believe it would be helpful for me to read the revision?
The revision,
Yes, sir.
as you see fit.
Well, my concern would be the general public, and I would say, I've said this on a number of occasions since I've been town attorney, what I've observed from this board is transparency, despite whether anybody else agrees with that or not. I have observed that myself, so, but in the interest of that, it might be helpful if I read the revision so that those who have read the ordinance that was previously posted, in which the planning board recommended approval of, so that you can see that this proposal now is more restrictive, and the board has the opportunity to either enact the one that was recommended by the planning board, or to enact the more restrictive one, or to enact nothing.
I think that's a good idea. And just regard to that last comment about which version to adopt, we do have for you tonight two ordinances. An ordinance with the original language that the planning board proposed, and then an alternate ordinance that has the revision in it. And so,
And if they enact nothing, they don't have to.
And to be clear, if there's something either in between or there's additional stuff that needs to be modified, I see no reason why we can't work out that tonight and decide exactly what that language is going to be.
Right. Well, with everyone's indulgence, I'll read it, and I'll try to be as loud and clear as I can. The current ordinance is Article 4, Section 1-1L, building to the lakeside of Lakeshore Drive and the canal side of Canal Cove Road. Number one, it is the intent of this section to regulate development along the lakeside of Lakeshore Drive and the canal side of Canal Cove Road to preserve the scenic views of the lake and canal for residents and visitors. Number two, only access ways, steps, decks, handrails, guardrails, bulkheads, and fences may be allowed on the lakeside of Lakeshore Drive, provided they meet the following requirements. A, location. The structures listed above may be constructed in the required yard or setback, but shall not be closer than 6 inches from a property line. B, height. No access ways, steps, decks, handrails, guardrails, bulkheads, or fences shall exceed 3 feet in height, including columns or posts. Height shall be measured from natural grade at any given point along the span of the structure. C, material. The above ground portion of a fence or handrail shall only be constructed of the following materials: brick, decorative wrought iron, treated wood, excluding any type of plywood, or any combination thereof.
Mr. Sessions?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me for interrupting. As you were reading, I noticed there were a couple of items that needed to be struck through in section D. So the first line, there's a reference to walls that should be struck.
Yeah, we forgot to delete wall. We removed walls, but didn't strike through it in paragraph D.
Okay.
And in paragraph D3.
The first 3 words, walls or fences, should be struck. Excuse me for interrupting.
No, no problem. Thank you. Letter D, transparency. Fences, handrails, guardrails must be at least 50% transparent. Transparency shall be calculated by measuring the width of the spacing between planks divided by the width of the spacing between planks plus the width of the plank. For example, a fence with 3.5-inch wide planks and 4-inch spacing between planks has a transparency of 53%. When calculating transparency, posts shall not be included in the calculation unless they exceed 12 inches in width or are spaced closer than 5 feet apart. Number 1, under section D, standalone gates or gates included as part of a row of fencing or connected to handrails may not exceed 4 feet in width. Number 2, gates included as part of a row of fencing or connected to handrails may be 0% transparent and shall not be included in the transparency calculation. And 3, all permitted structures less than 18 inches tall may be 0% transparent. Letter E, for the purposes of this section, a guardrail is considered any structure used to delineate a boundary, such as wooden posts with a rope running between them. Number 3, all decks on Canal Cove Road shall meet the setback requirements for the appropriate zoning district. Decks are limited to 120 square feet and shall not encroach more than 8 feet into the canal. This will be measured from the farthest landmass extending into the canal located on said lot.
So again, we got 3 options we talked about. Correct?
I guess you got 4 options. You can adopt the planning board version, you can adopt the alternate version, you can adopt some other version that is not any of those, or just is a modification of one of those, or you can do that.
I would propose that we adopt the modification of the board's amendment and
if I may be clear, with those two corrections that Daniel identified.
Yes.
To correction of the walls. All right, Terry's put a motion on the floor, going with the ordinance that Scott Sessions just read. Any more conversation, Mr. Frank, did you have anything?
No, I'll second his.
You will second his motion. All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll go with the ordinance, 3-foot tall transparent fence. All right. Moving forward. Are we good there?
I think we're good.
We're good there?
If you don't mind, gentlemen, we will say goodnight.
Good night, thank you for being here. Got one more big agenda item here to go through. All right. We'll give everybody a minute here. We'll move on. Take a popcorn, Mike. Thank you, Mr. Serkin, Mr. Adams, appreciate you being here. Give Meredith a minute to come back. Help yourself. I guess we'll go on.
If he comes back, I'll give it back to him.
Huh? Yeah, we gotta give her a minute to get back. She's keeping notes.
I know, that's what I wanted to ask a question. But you're not gonna ask questions because they tell you things that you know. Well, we know it's got your conversation.
And I know you folks don't see our town manager with us tonight. He had a planned vacation earlier in the year. That's where he's at. Are you ready, Mrs. Parker?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, item number 8, discussion of purchasing 107 Church Street. So, a little history. When we, myself and the town manager went to Raleigh and hit up Brendan Jones and Senator Bill Raven for some funding for the town like Waccamaw, we went up there with a full spreadsheet. We know we got infrastructure problems. We know we had issues with the dam, even though the dam didn't belong to us. It was issues with the dam. We also had a town hall here with a ceiling that's leaking in different places and mold and different things. So, we put it all out in front of them. Had pictures of this and that. We put it all in front of them. So when it came back and the money was allocated, we were allocated $2.5 million for a new town hall or facilities. Okay, so that money has to be used for a new town hall or facilities. Can't be used for infrastructure, can't be used for the dam, has to be used what it's earmarked for. So, we looked around, we've talked to the Dawsey's about purchasing a piece of property between us and the Christmas tree, and they weren't interested, and, we just kind of threw this around. Well, we got a certain amount of time we get to use this money, $2.5 million. Town manager have been talking to the engineers and stuff about it's earmarked for town hall or facilities. We got Elizabeth Brinkley Park over here, 27 acres that was donated to us 2010 that we haven't touched. So kind of had it worked out where we could use some of the money going that direction. Well, this Friday, a piece of property hit the market that would be fit for this past Friday. That would be fit for Lake Waccamaw, and it was a no-brainer. And, Mr. Litcher, I'll give you the floor. Put you on the spot.
Well, essentially, the opportunity for the building came available, and it became very apparent that the building would adequately help us with several different issues. If anybody's been here and been back, and most people don't go back into where the police department is, but it's pretty pathetic and very crowded. So there is the ability to be able to utilize this space for the police department. You also, a lot of people have come in and talked to the zoning building inspector, and he doesn't even have an office, actually. That's the hallway, and there's where he's at. So this opportunity for this building at the price that they were asking for was an incredible opportunity. While it was shown in an inordinate amount of time, in about 3 days, I think the building was shown about anywhere from 8 to 12 times. And I know that's a big spread, but I don't remember exactly what Henry told me. But the opportunity to bid on the property, I put a bid in for the property in the absence of Matt not being here.
I was on vacation.
I took the opportunity to put that bid in. At that time, there were 6 bids came in that were actually over the asking price at that time. So they asked for a second time for a bid to be put in, and it'd be the best and final bid from anybody. We had the opportunity to do that, and to be completely forthright, we paid $200,000 for the building.
The medical center building up here.
And if you get the opportunity to see it later on when we get into it, you'll see the amount of square footage and all the rest of it that's there. Now, I realize that we haven't voted on this to make this official, but essentially we have been granted the opportunity to purchase this land, this building, and I did bid $200,000 for it as our best and final offer. We did get the bid, and the property will be available to us.
Subject to board approval.
Subject to board approval.
So
So we have it under contract, but the board has to vote tonight to
validate that.
validate. Exactly.
So anyway, the opportunity to do that is, quite frankly, I think, obviously nobody can tell you that, or nobody knows what exactly went on, but I do believe that the board that made the decision to allow the town to buy it recognized that it was going to be a real value to the town, and they wanted to help us with that opportunity. So I present this to the board as a discussion for the purchase of the facility, and ask for the approval for the ability to purchase this building.
So that's form of a motion.
I put that in the form of a motion.
Motion to buy the medical center building for $200,000. Motion second by Mr. Frank Carroll. All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
So $200,000. We have money to spend to whatever reconstruct or refurbishing the medical center building. We also have money to spend to refurbish this town hall and fix this town hall up. And then if we have any money left over, we can start breaking ground on Elizabeth Brinkley Park. That's kind of the idea here. But you got a brand new board coming here in January, so I hope they can run with it. All right?
I can tell you firsthand, because I've been in it several times, the building's moving ready. I mean, they're gonna do a lot of different things to it, but the building's in incredible shape. And, you'll be surprised how nice it is.
My personal thing, that's the best thing that this town hall, this board here has done. Is to purchase that building and move fire building with police, whatever it is.
Police, public works, whatever it may be, you know.
Frank Carroll, man,
more discussion on the building? All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Terry, and I applaud you for taking the bull by the horns and taking care of it. When I left here Wednesday morning, going on my annual vacation, and, you know, you called on Saturday and said, hey, we gotta make a move here, we gotta
Sorry
make it
to
quick.
bother you, but.
Yeah. All right, Ms. Meredith, finance reports. Good evening, ma'am.
You have the tax collector's reports and the revenue and expenditure reports before you. So far, we have collected 34% of the projected property taxes and 49% of the vehicle taxes. Moving on, do you have any questions regarding the revenue and expenditure report at this time? Okay, thank you. Moving along, Mr. Kinski is not here, and as a note, I want it on record, I will not be here for the December 9th meeting. I have a family obligation, and the board has already granted approval for me to be absent. Public safety is an important matter, and our first responders have requested that the residents be mindful that we need to have reflective numbers on your mailboxes and on your homes. It will aid in our response time, and it will also help with public works when they're out doing repairs. So please, especially down Canal, Waccamaw Shores, have those numbers visible so that people can identify you as quickly as possible. The water meter project is scheduled to begin December 15th. The estimated completion date is expected to be mid-April. We are very excited about this opportunity, and we thank you for your support. The wastewater treatment plant project is currently in the final punch list phase. Wells projects, there's no new information to report at this time. Other than that, community events. We have our Christmas tree lighting ceremony on December 5th. We typically start here at Town Hall. It is sponsored by the Depot. And we will walk here from 5:30, get down to the Christmas tree, and at 6 o'clock we will light the tree. And as you see, Public Works has been hard at work trying to get our Christmas decorations up early. Our Christmas parade will be December 6th. We will meet at Elizabeth Brinkley Park at 9 o'clock, start our lineup, and then we will proceed promptly at 10 a.m. Do you have any questions or anything you'd like to add? For the parade, you can sign up online on the Lake Waccamaw website, or you can call Town Hall, and we will get you on the list. The parade is free. There are no entry fees, so we do encourage everybody to participate.
You did a great job on the trees. I'm ACD, so I'm like, they come staged just right. They look really good.
And if y'all didn't hear what Scott just said, you know, when they first started the roundabout, that tree was not gonna make it. We went to bat for the Christmas tree. I said, hey.
It would have been the same without
It would have been the same without it, so. All right, anybody got anything closing, Carl?
I do not.
Mr. Reese?
I think it's really, really apparent that the amount of decorations that they were able to put up this year in comparison, it really, yeah, and it's really, really nice. There's a lot more out there than there has been in the last few years.
You got any left in my house?
Also, I know that Public Works guys have been hard at work. You got anything?
Anything, Greg McMillan?
I'm good.
How about Jeff?
See a lot of people in the front yards next month, will be changing out your water meters and stuff, so.
And that'll, explain that, does that all be digital, you can ride by with a machine and you won't have to be getting out, going and digging
It'll
up?
all be electronic read, we'll do a drive-by, all the numbers will come up here, we have print water bills off, and everything will be good. What we're gonna be doing, we'll turn your water off for a few minutes, long enough to change the meters out. Turn your water right back on. And what we're planning to do is, when we get close to everybody's houses, we'll hand out flyers, put it in your doorway, and say we're gonna be turning your water off today. That way nobody won't be caught surprised. But if everything goes good, it shouldn't take very long to change the meters.
Your best guess, how much time are we gonna save, right, utilizing these equipment?
What, with the new system?
Yes, for our workers, because I saw them walking today, and it just blows my mind.
You're knocking down for about 3.5, 4 days.
Wow.
So when you put the water, the new meter in, you won't have to do a boil water or anything
No,
like
sir,
that?
no boil water values, nothing like that, we're just gonna turn it off at the main, swap the meter out, turn it right back on, and everything will be good. And your new meter lids is gonna have a round thing like a hockey puck on top of the lids. Please do not mow over them with the lawnmower.
Please tell my wife that.
Thank you, TV, WWNY for being here.
But your lawnmower should go over them, but just don't, just gotta be kind of cautious with what it is the antenna or a meter read.
The other thing you guys are, have planned after the holidays on the fire hydrants,
Yes, sir.
you've already got some parts for them.
Yes, sir, we're gonna start changing hydrants out probably first of the year, the holidays are coming.
And the water has to be cut completely off to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's why we don't wanna do it now.
There we go again, we'll notify everybody in that one little area where we're gonna be working, about when we're gonna turn the water off, and when we turn the water back on.
Thanks, Greg.
Alright,
Yes, sir, thank you all.
Ron, you back there?
I am.
You got anything for us?
All good, nothing
Good.
else.
Alright, how about my police back there, probably, they back there? Corey, you good? You good, everything okay?
Chad had brought it up about the speed. Kind of explained if you're coming from Hallsborough, once you get to town limits, it changes to 45, right, basically right at the cemetery. And the first entrance to the Boys and Girls Home, it changes to 35 through town. And then Mount Zion changes back to 55. Like we were talking about, they wanted to change it to 45, but we
We're trying.
We've tried,
Yes,
we've
sir.
tried 3 times.
all we do is keep trying.
Just keep
It
trying.
would be nice, we have all the way through town limits. They did change those signs out for them.
Good.
All I have.
Great, thank you. Alright, if nothing further, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks everybody for being here.